Guys, in
This conference will now be recorded.
this session, let's try to understand the concept of polymorphism and inheritance. The last session and the before session, I think we have discussed about the encapsulation. What is the encapsulation? Encapsulation is the wrapping up of data and methods into a single unit. That is called as an encapsulation, and the single unit is called as class. Okay, that we have seen. Now, in this session, we shall try to understand what is this polymorphism and what is the concept of its inheritance, and how that will be implemented in this Scala language. Let's try to see that. Okay. So polymorphism, the name itself says that poly in the sense multiple or many. Okay, ism in the sense forms. Morphism, polymer is nothing but multiple. Morphism, I think, morphism is many forms. Similar many forms. Okay, so one utility or one entity taking many forms, that will be called as what? Polymorphism, actually. Okay, so what is that one entity, how it behaves, or how it is taking multiple forms? Let's try to understand that first. Okay, simply understand the polymorphism. So one entity taking many forms under different situations. So how do we implement it? How do we use it? Okay, let's try to see this now. Let me create a new class here. Saunders column, ethics column. Let me try to create an object of polymorphism. Polymorphism, PHISM. Fine. Okay. Let me delete these previous programs. Now, the very first thing is when you create an object, this is the common question, guys. I have been facing the interviews nowadays. Uh, uh, the very common question is, what is the difference between object and a class? That means we are creating a class by using the keyword object, and we are creating the class by using the keyword class. What is the difference between these two? This is the common question. This is the question that I was I came across in 2 or 3 interviews, I think. Okay, so what is this? A class can have multiple objects. The class that is created with the keyword class can have multiple objects, isn't it? I think that I made this point here in this. Yes, class was a traits also. I will come to the trait later. Yeah, this I have made point. Okay, any finite number of objects can be created externally by using the new keyword. Okay, one or more objects can be there and one class. In this case, no objects can be created externally with the keyword. Okay, just remember this point, guys. This is a common question, very basic question in Scala language. If you say Scala programming, this will be the compulsory question nowadays. Okay, so we'll come to that. The next week, I will introduce you to traits also. Okay, but in this session, let us try to understand what is polymorphism and inheritance. Okay, oh, def main. And one more point is, whatever the method that we write inside this object, this is called singleton object, right? Singleton object. All those objects, they become static. All those objects become static. We'll discuss the static and everything. But remember one more point, that the whatever the whatever the content we have in this object, that everything becomes a static. Static in the sense that cannot be created. Multiple instances cannot be created. We'll see the discussion later. Discuss about later. Just remember that the content that we specify in this object, they become static. Remember this point for now. That will be clear in the coming up sessions. Okay. Def main args dot array of string equal to, it is unit equal to. Now here we need to write the logic. Okay now. So what I do is I'll create one class now here. So in addition to this, I'll create one class called as Scala class, called as polymorphism. Yeah, guys, can you hear me now? Yeah, yeah, fine, sir. There's a net connection problem. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Network issue from my side only, guys. Sorry. Mm, So it is the class polymorphism class. So here we shall create some methods. To create some methods, def, area. Let us say area. I'm trying to find out the area of a square. How do you find the area of a square, guys? What is the formula for it? Side, right? We need to provide the side. If it is some double, let's take it as double. So what will the output? Again, it would be double. The type of output will be again double, equal to what is the formula for to find the side of area of a square? Side into side is right. Side into side is the area of a square. Okay. Next, I find df area, length of a sorry, area of a rectangle. So there we use length and breadth. So even the is equals double, and the output will be again double. Or you be a double equal to, here we need to write the formula is length into breadth. Length into breadth. Okay, this is the formula for finding the area of the rectangle, and finding the area of a triangle. Area of a triangle, what do we have? uh, Base and slant, I think. I'm not sure. uh, I'm not sure, guys, about the area of a rectangle, sorry, triangle. I think it is base and slope by slant. Is it side or is it slant? I don't remember, guys. Just I'm writing some height, right? Sorry, yeah, height. Is it base only? Is it base and height? Height, let me take a stable. Yeah, base and height. DOUPL double, and the result would be again double, equal to what's the formula, guys, for this? Base into height into what is the formula? I think is it 0.5, 1 by 2 into base into height, right? So that is 0.5, isn't it? Yeah, right, guys. So here we have three methods, guys: area, area, and area. Okay. So if you see this now, here we have three methods actually. Here we have three methods. One is called as area. We are trying to find the side area of a square here, and with this we are trying to find the area of a rectangle, and with this we are trying to find the area of a we call as a triangle. So better what I do is, now what is the name of all these functions, guys? Here the names of all these methods are same, right? The name of this method is area. Here the name of the method is area. Here also the name of the method is area. Okay, so polymorphism in this concept is called as function overloading or method overloading. This is called as function overloading. Or so as these functions are inside the class, we call them as methods of the class. So this concept is called as method overloading. What is method overloading? So in this we have polymorphism. One of the concept is method overloading. Method overloading. What is this method overloading is? Method, multiple methods with same name. So multiple methods with same name, with same name, but with different signature. Okay, not dignature guys, it is, this is signature. Okay, multiple methods with same name but with different signature. You see this, what is my signature is this? So if you compare these three methods, the name is same for all these methods, and when you compare first method and second method, what is the difference between these two now? This particular method has only one input, only one variable as input, and this method has two variables as input, and even this has two variables as input. Okay, so the name can be same, the name of a method can be same, but the number of input parameters are, I'm telling, repeating the statement, the number of input parameters are, the types of the input parameters must be different. I'm repeating the statement here, the number of input parameters are, the types of the input parameters must be same. Okay, so the name can be same, but okay, signature in the sense, the number of parameters, input parameters must be different, or the types of the input parameters must be different. Okay, but the number of parameters input, number of input arguments are parameters guys, we call them as arguments are guys, parameters doesn't make any difference. Arguments, number of arguments are, types of the arguments. So it allows same number of arguments also, but at least the types of the arguments must be different, must be different. Okay na? So there is the rest. You see, if you compare these three methods here, the first method is unique. Why? Because even though name is same, it has only one input argument, but the remaining two methods, the name is same, even the number of the arguments is also same, the number of arguments is also same. Remember that. You may ask a question here, here we have the arguments names as length and breadth, right? Here we have base and height, so they are different, right? In that case, how they become same? Can't the name can be used, can't the names of the variables can be used to differentiate between these two? Can't we use them differently? No, remember that these names of the parameters doesn't make any difference guys, remember. Okay, these names of the variables or argument doesn't make any difference, so only the number of variables, that is the number of arguments, are the types of the arguments must be different. Okay, so that is the reason it is showing error. You can see this one here. Okay, for this area and for this method, for these two methods, it is throwing an error. Now you can see this under, it is underlined with red color, that means that same there is some problem, there is some issue there. So here we have two parameters, and the pair arguments and the types of arguments are both double. Here also we have both arguments double, so that is the reason it's throwing an error. So if we could change height or something, or to be, let us say, integer, that error should disappear now. Now we don't have any error now, any issues now. So if you compare these two methods, the number of arguments are different, and if you compare these two methods, the types of the arguments are different. Okay, this concept is called as what, uh, method overloading. This concept is called as method overloading. And how do we make, call to these methods? How we, where from we make call to these methods? From other function or from the main methods. Okay, so here we have the main method, and here we need to create an object first. Well, ob1 equal to new, what is the class name here? It is polymorphism class, isn't it? Polymorphism class equal to new. This is optional guys, the writing, this is purely optional, you can simply omit it, but I got habituated to this kind of programming, so I am using, but you need not do that, it's purely optional, we can omit that. Okay, new polymorphism class. So with this, a class is going, sorry, an object will be created with this. Now ob1 dot add. So which add method will be invoked, or which will be executed with this? No add method. Why? Because if you want to, now if you say that I pass some 30 here, Still it is throwing an error. Why? Because 30 is an integer now here. Is an integer. But even this is no the first method. It is taking one argument, but its type is double, not integer. So that is the reason it is showing that is an error, that there is no add method which is accepting integer as a variable, integer as some data. So that is the reason it is showing an error. If you say some 30.7, now that error will disappear now. ob1 dot add of 30.7, it must be double. Is it right? Why it is still showing an error? Anything wrong here, guys? Sorry, add, not sorry, not add area, add right area, sorry. It is area, right? Area of 30.7. Okay, side equal to 30.7. Similarly, ob1 dot area of next element. So here we have double double and double int. We have two. So if I pass 20.3 and 34.5 or 34.5, so 34.5. So the second area function and method is going to be called, and ob1 dot area of some 20.1, 20.2, comma 34. It must be an integer. So the third method will be called. That's it, guys. Very simple. Okay. So I call this as val area one. If you want, you can specify the type of this double. Data type is double. Next, val area 2, again double. Next again, val area 3 colon double. D must be capital here. D-O-U-B-L-E double equal to area of 3. Now if you want, you can print this. How do you print this? Println the area. I simply write areas, guys. You can modify the statement whatever you want up to. Plus area 1 plus no some slash t, and again plus area 2, area 1, area 2 plus area 3. Here we have an error. That's it. Okay. If you run this, we are going to get the output of this. Run polymorphism. You can see the guess. The areas are 942 but 49, and we have the results like this. Okay, this is very simple concept, guys. Likewise, we can implement any complex scenarios. The concept is very simple. The concept is same methods, multiple methods having the same name, but with a different signature. Signature in the sense, the input parameters or that output type. These at least this must anyone has to be different. Then the concept can be implemented like this. This is called as function overloading. Is it okay, guys? This concept is called as function overloading. And we have one more concept. What is it called as? I think already we have knowledge of this Java. They must have known that function overloading. And one more we have. What is that? What is that, guys? Hmm, class polymorph overriding. The overriding polymorphism class 2. 2. Yeah, that's what I'm trying. I'm going with that one. Okay. Df. Let me create one area here. Area of side only. I create side or some ism x colon double colon double equal to I write uh, x into x. Okay, this is the first one I'm writing here in this method, sorry, in this class. Let's write one more class here, def or ea of a colon double comma b colon double, sorry, double double and a into b. That's fine, guys. So do we have any problem with this, guys? Actually, is there any problem with this? Is there any problem with this? Do you think, is it the concept of overriding, or is there any problem with overriding here? With this, do we have do we need to, do we have any concept of overriding here? Not, or overloading? Do we have only overloading or overriding? Overriding also. Yeah, tell me, guys. Do we have only overriding, overloading, or overriding also in this code? Whatever we have written in these two classes. Yeah, if we have the, if already, some of you have the knowledge of Java programming or C++ programming. Based on the, tell me, did I implement the concept of overriding in this or not? Just that, tell me. Did I implement the concept of overriding or not? Where did I implement the concept of overriding here? Hmm? Where did I implement the concept of overriding? A into B. Why do you think A into B? Why do you think A into B is overridden? Okay, it's not like that, guys. See this now, that overriding concept, when only overloading, yes, it is only overloading, guys. That's what I'm trying to say here. Overriding is something, right? I will come to that. Just I will show directly with practical, you understand. Here also, these two classes, these, here we have area and area. These two method belongs to polymorphism class 2, and these three belong to polymorphism class. Okay, remember this point. This is not called as overriding. Why this is not overriding? Next, whatever the concept I'm going to discuss, they will understand clearly why this is not overriding. Why this is overloading, and why what we discussed now, that will be overriding. We shall try to understand that one. Is it clear, guys? Fine. Okay, remember this point. Okay, just I'm skipping this. I'm deleting this code, and I will create a new one that we call as inheritance scala class. Let me create an object first. Object with inheritance. Let me call it as inheritance. Let me delete this too. That's inheritance. Now let me create a main method here. Def main. Nothing is fine. Let me create a class here. I call it as inheritance class 1. Okay. Okay. Now in this, I create some variables first. Val name colon, I say some company, val company, it is a string. So initially I'm taking it as empty string. Let me use var. Because we'll have multiple class objects, right? So let me take it as var. Var location colon string equal to, let it be empty. Later I can override these values. Okay. Next, def salary will be called as gross salary. Mm, otherwise, simply let me take salary only, guys. Salary. Um, Let me take basic salary. Take basic. So it is some double and colon double equal to BA basic plus some HRA. So HRA is calculated as some 30% of basic. So basic into 0.3 and some DA or some intensive, whatever the intensive that can be. So I calculate the basic into some 40% or 50% 0.5 that we are returning here. Okay, so this is one class. Next what I do is I create one more class here, class inheritance, class 2 inheritance inheritance class 2. Okay, I create one more here. So actually what I'm doing is I'm trying to create a profile for uh, I'm trying to create for an employee, for employees, let us say for employees. So in the first class I mentioned company name, that is string, and location as string. Okay, company string and location as string. And here in the second inheritance class, what I do is I would like to create the name, ID, and some other fields, where name equal to, where name string equal to, or let it be empty again, and where id colon some int equal, let me call it as some 0 initially. Okay, this is going to, so in here we have name and id. So every employee will have a name, id, and what do you call as some salary. Or let me create a variable where basic salary double equal to 0.0 is 0.0. Now what I do is where id int equal to 0. Next what I do is I calculate some PF. I think let us say some, I'm calculating some PF here equal to let it be the input is some basic here again, BASIC. This is a double. So order basic is there here. So need of mentioning this basic. Even this is not required here. I can simply pass this. So PF colon double equal to I say is not where, sorry, it's DEF, guys. It is DEF. I say basic into some 0.5 into, let us say some 3600, some 10 years, 365 days for 1 year. So this one. Okay, now see this, guys. uh, this class has name and id, and this class has and as well as pf1 method. This class has company, location, and basic salary for this. Okay, now thing is employee should have name, id, company, location, and basic, all this. But the data is distributed into some fields and one method, and some fields another method. They are divided into two columns, sorry, two classes. They got divided into two classes. So what shall we do now? You know, shall we delete these two classes and shall we create all these two methods into one class and all these variables into one class, or is there any way of merging these two classes? Okay, we can use, in this case what we can use is we can use the concept of inheritance. That is, In the first inheritance class, we have three variables and one method. In the second class, we have two variables and one method. Now, we can make, by using the concept of inheritance, we can make the second class to access the content of the first class also. To access the content of the first class also. So generally, if the content of a class cannot be used by, or cannot be accessed by another class. Remember, the content of a class cannot be accessed by other class. But how can we access the content of other class? That can be done with the concept of inheritance. Inheriting, what do inheriting generally, getting the access, having the access, children will inherit the property of the parents, you know getting access, having access to it, authority, access and authorities will be there. The same thing here. So now I can make the second class to access the content of the first class. How do make it? Just by simply following the concept of the what we call as the inheritance. So how that will be implemented? Okay, now how shall I make the second class to access the content of the first class? Okay, now I can make like this. That is, see this what I'm writing here. Simply write here extends inheritance class 1. Inheritance class 1. Where is that we have? Inheritance class 1. That's it. So now this inheritance class 2 will have how many variables, Now this inheritance class will have 5 variables. Name and ID of its own, and it is inheriting 3 variables from inheritance 1. What is that? Company, location and basic. So now inheritance class indirectly has 5 variables. Okay, and it has not just one method, it has two methods. One is pf and the one is salary. Why? Because we are inheriting from it. Clear guys? Is it okay? This is how we implement, I'm giving the basic idea of all these guys first. Then we shall see some complex scenarios, but first I'm going with the basic concept of what is inheritance, what is polymorphism. Okay, now how shall I make, say, this one from the main method? Which object I have to create, guys? Now here we have two classes. uh, we need to create an object. For which class we can actually create the object? For the first class or second class? Which one? First or second? So if we go with the first class, we'll have only three variables and one method. If we go to the second class, if we create an object for the second class, that is class 2. So it is inheriting the features of the first class. So it will have the features of the first class as well as the second class. So it is better to create an object of the second class now. Okay, instead of the first class. Okay, so now why we are using this? What is the advantage of using this inheritance is we can reuse the code, isn't it? Already the code is written here. The code is written. We need not to write the same code. If we want to use the same code in another class, we need not to write the same code again. Just we can have the access. Already the code is defined in somewhere some other class. Now if you want to use it again, then simply you can use this extends operation and the class name, whatever the content, whatever the stuff we have in that can be accessed into this class. Is it clear, guys? This is mainly used for code reusability. Code reusability. It saves lot of coding and lot of time also. Okay, coding nothing but is directly proportional to time. Okay, so this is the concept of this is the idea of basically inheritance. Inheritance avoids data what we call as I don't say data code replication. Another code replication. It can be used for reuse of one instance of data, but one copy of data with multiple instances. That's very simple. Okay, likewise we can extend the same classes into another class also. I say class inheritance, inheritance 3. So in this, I would like to access each and everything of both the classes, first class and as well as second class. I would like to have the content of both first class and second class. What should I know now? what should I do now? I want to access the content of both first class as well as second class. What should I do in this case? Extends only inheritance class 2 or first class also? First class is not required. Why? Because already the second class is inheriting the content of first class. So no need to inherit it from the first class. Directly we can inherit from the second class. Inheritance 2. Okay, only second would be enough. And that's it. Now access the content. I can access the content of the both. I need not. I'm not creating any methods or variables here. Simply I'm creating the class. Now go with the main method and create an object for this. New inheritance class 3 or class 2. Okay. So use it with some val ob1 equal to ob1 equal to new inheritance class 2. So after this is done, the next step is we need to call the methods. ob1 dot first let me give the IDs and all this. ID equal to some 20. ob1 dot name equal to some David. Next ob1 dot some basic some 34,000 dot some 45. That's it. Next ob1 dot some salary. Next ob1 dot pf. Okay, let me print this all this guys. Let me print this salary. Println that I can print. The salary is plus. Just I can write here. Println the pf is plus ob1 dot pf. That's it guys. If you want you can print that id a name and basic also. You can print that, just I'm not printing them, but if you want you can print them, you can check it. Okay, it's not a big deal. Now let me run this program. Inheritance. Okay, the salary is something like this and the pf is something we got the output. Okay, this concept is called as what guys, you know, this is called as inheritance. Okay, now see this. Now what I'm doing is just observe very carefully here. Now I'm using salary guys here. So already in the first method, sorry, in the first class we have a method called as salary. In the second class also we are trying to create a method called salary. Do you think is it overloading now? Overloading can happen in the same class, not in different classes. Remember, overloading is the concept of having multiple methods with same name in the same class, not in multiple classes. Okay, not in the two different classes. But in the already in the first class we have the method called as salary. I'm trying to use the same method in the second class also. Got my point here? So now we are creating the object of the second class right here. ob1 dot p salary. Why pf is error here? What's the problem? Yeah, pf is not there, right? So when I say that ob1 dot salary, now ob1 belongs to which class here? This class 2. So whether that object has to execute this salary logic or this salary logic, which logic has to be executed? Which logic has to be executed? So there will be a confusion. There will be an ambiguity. In this case, now we have to make a decision. Now we have to make a decision that which one has to be chosen for execution. Out of these two methods, which method logic has to be executed? In this case, we override a methods. In this case we override a method guys. Okay, so for this what we have to do is we have to prepend that by using overrides. I think I should and this is done. Override. Now if you place override here, that error is gone. You can see this now. So we don't have salary here. EF is not there, we have only this one. Now which method will be executed, guys? Which logic will be executed now? Whether the logic of the second class or whether the logic of the first class? Which class logic will be executed now? Second. Why? Because the first preference will be given to the local class. The first preference will, we are creating object for second class right there. This OB1 is the object of the second class, isn't it? So the priority will be given to the local class. That means the class to which that object belongs to. Okay, now so out of these two salaries, now only one salary method will be executed. That salary the salary method of second class. Why? Because the object is created with the help of this salary. Okay, now this is the point you have to remember, guys. Okay, now if I create an object of the first class, well, ob2 equal to new inheritance 1, inheritance class 1, and I say ob2 dot salary, ob2 dot salary. Which salary method will be executed, guys? Now this ob2 belongs to first class, so this logic is going to be executed. There's no dependency. This class is not inheriting anything from any class, so it is going to execute its own method. That is, this salary method will be executed. That's it, guys. That's why I told you override directly we can't use in that function overriding. The overloading here we can use it. So here we are using implement inheritance, as well the same time we are implementing this function over not this method overriding concept, guys. Okay, so both all these concepts are interrelated, not isolated, they are interrelated. So one is here we are using overriding and in inheritance. Okay, this way the concept implementation will be different. So let's just run this once. It should not throw any error. So in the main method, just run this. We get some output out of this. So we are printing only salary. So that is the only output we got here. Okay. Now let me show you the various types of inheritances. Inheritance is code reusability. The main advantage is code reusability that we can achieve with this inheritance. Okay, now guys, and after this, what I write is types of inheritances. This is called as single level inheritance. Single level inheritance. I'm simply just writing the shortcut. And multi-level inheritance. And what's the other one, guys? Sorry. One called hierarchical inheritance. Hierarchical inheritance. And anything do we have other than this, guys? Multi-level inheritance and multiple inheritance. Okay. Single level inheritance, multi-level inheritance, hierarchical inheritance, and multiple inheritance. What is this multiple, guys? Does Java supports multiple inheritance? Does Java supports multiple inheritance? Yes or no? Does it supports multiple inheritance? I'm asking about Java, not Scala. I'm asking about Java. Does it supports multiple inheritance or not? Yeah. Now, what is single inheritance? The first unit, one base class or one super class, they call as one base class and one derived class. One derived class. What in by this? This is the one. That is. So in between these two guys, in between class 1 and class 2, which is base class and which is derived class? Which is class and which is derived class? So class 1 is base and class 2 is derived. Well, because class 2 is deriving the content from the base first class. So this will become the base and this will become the derived class. Okay. So if we have only one base class and one derived class, this is called a single level inheritance. Okay. And if there are multiple uh, base and derived classes, this is called as you know what, multi-level inheritance. Single level and multi-level. Multi-level in the sense this would be like this. So see this one. Second class is inheriting from first class and third class is inheriting from second class. If we have one more class, that fourth class we might inherit from third class. That kind of inheriting the data between the classes, nothing but what, that is multi-level inheritance. Okay, so there we have multiple base classes and multiple derived classes. Okay, the multiple. What hierarchical inheritance? One base class, or we can say that it is a combination of uh, sorry, not combination, sorry guys, it is a one base class and multiple derived classes. This is called as hierarchy inheritance. And we have one more before this multiple. Just you have to tell me whether Java, no one answered, whether Java supports multiple inheritance or not. These are all the questions, guys. Okay, you have to understand hybrid inheritance. It is a combination of one or more written, combination of two types of combination of any two types of inheritances. So maybe the combination of multi-level and hierarchical single level. It can't be the combination of single level and multi-level. It must be the combination of multi-level or a single level and hierarchical. So that is called as hybrid inheritance. Yeah, Java does not support multiple inheritance, guys. Okay, Java does not support multiple inheritance, but that concept can be implemented by using uh, some other concept in Java. What is it called as? To implement this feature is not directly support. Java does not support directly the multiple inheritance, but it supports that feature with some other concept. What is that concept called as? What is the concept called as? Have you heard about interfaces? Interface. Okay, so Java does not support directly the concept of multiple inheritance. What is a multiple inheritance? First, let me show that. Multiple. What is multiple? Multiple inheritance is about one, uh, not one, sorry, multiple base classes and one derived class. Derived class. This is not supported in Java, in Scala also. It's not supported in Java or in Scala also. Remember that. It's not supported. This is not supported, guys. Even though I've mentioned here, this is not supported. Remember, supported in Java and Scala. I don't know about other languages, but I can say that about these two. Supported in Java and Scala. But this is supported in C++ language, guys. Yeah, C++, right? That language supports this multiple inheritance, but Java does not support it, and Scala also does not support it. So, what is the alternative in Java to implement such kind of software? This feature that can be done with the concept called as interface, guys. That can be done with the concept interface in Java. Interfaces in Java. In Java uses the concept called as interfaces to implement the concept that we lost because of this multiple inheritance. And Scala uses the concept of traits. Trait or traits, the Scala language. So there here we have discussed about the traits. What is a trait? It is something like interface in Java language. Scala equal trait. Okay, now that we shall discuss in the next session. What is a trait and how do we deal with it? That we shall discuss. Okay, so I gave you the basic idea of what is polymorphism, and what is inheritance, how that can be done. Just we can experiment all these in types of inheritance, guys. I have shown you two types. There is single level and multi level. Then we can try with hybrid as well as hierarchical inheritance. There are many blogs and YouTube videos are there which can give you the how we can implement the hierarchy and everything. You got the basic idea. You can implement on your own, taking some use case. You can implement on your own. Okay, now clear, guys? Any questions in this? In between implementation of the polymorphism. So polymorphism has two: method overloading and one more. What is it? Method overriding. Method overriding and inheritance is about code reusability, single level inheritance, different types of inheritance techniques, and the interfaces in Java and traits in Scala. Is it clear, guys? Any questions? These traits are very important, guys. Traits, even we have a questions with overriding definition, please. Method overriding is, you know what, same method being used in multiple classes. Same method used in multiple classes in inheritance. There's no problem in using a method in two classes. The same method name in having, being into, there's no problem with that. But if we're trying to inherit it, very simple, here, you have a pen with you. You can write with that pen, and you borrowed, and your friend is giving a pen to you again to write. So which one you use? Now you have two choices there. We have it, both can do the same purpose. The purpose is same with the two pens. Which one you choose? There comes the ambiguity, right? Okay. If your friends gives you what you don't have, then there will not be any clash. You know why? Because you don't have it. But if your friends gives you what you have already, then you will have a big confusion there. Which one to use? Whether you with your product, your item, or the one that your friend gave. So that kind of confusion will create here. So in order to avoid that confusion, we need to override in the sense, if your friend gives you your her pen, okay, and you have your pen, so you don't use your friend's pen. Instead you will use yours. That's called overriding. Even though she's offering you, you won't use it. You are using your own. As well as you have to override your methods, then you will use your method. Otherwise, if not overridden, then obviously it's going to throw an error. Why? Because it will create confusion for the executor during the runtime of the program. It will throw an error. Which program I have to, which function I have to execute, guys? Please give me clarity on that. That's what Java, the executor will ask us. The JVM will ask us. Okay, it doesn't allow during compilation time itself, but that's the error we are going to get. Even it supports, it doesn't throw any error during compilation. If you go with runtime also, that is the error that it has, that it throws. Okay, fine, guys, is it okay? Yeah. Do one thing, guys. Just let us wind up the session for today.